It is the morning of October 18th. Let's do a quick update on Bitcoin's chart, as well as take a look at the spot Bitcoin ETF products in the United States. Now, what happened yesterday is we came down and actually got a little bounce above, a little tiny bounce, this wick off of the top line of support from our bull flag. This is exactly what we want to see. But the next thing we want to see is we do want to see us start to get some separation. If we come back down here, the more time we ride this line, the more likely that we are going to be in a scenario where this breaks, right? Now, from a daily stochastic RSI standpoint, we are in totally overbought position. So if you are buying Bitcoin right now, the daily stochastic RSI says that there's a lot more risk to reward at the moment. Also, if this pairs with this daily candle closing with a wick that is at or just below the last high we just made, that would also be, at the very least, a short-term bearish indicator. But we still have 12 and a half hours to go before this daily candle closes, so we'll be keeping our eyes on that. So the daily chart at this moment is telling us that, hey, the odds of there being a short-term little pullback, or at least sideways action across this top line, the odds of that are growing, right? I can't tell you if it's definitely going to start to roll over or whatever, but the odds are growing. However, on the weekly time frame, the weekly stochastic RSI says that there is definitely more room to the upside. And if we get a weekly candle close above this line, and then maybe next week we come down and touch it on the weekly chart, basically copying what we're seeing on the daily chart right now, where we broke above it, had a little wick, touched, and then hopefully, have some price action move upwards. Hopefully we see that happen over a little bit more time, happen on the weekly chart too, right? That would allow the daily chart to take a breather, but also allow the weekly chart to continue its move upwards, because to me, this is absolutely moving upwards. So if we do get a short-term breather, and again, like I said, the odds of that are becoming a little bit higher now that we saw on the daily chart, it will be a short-term correction before we continue this breakout, which is what the stochastic RSI says, as well as the MACD, which has finally flipped from all these weeks of red into the littlest, tiniest baby green, which is super exciting because it shows us that once again, there is a ton of room to the upside on the weekly time frame. Also, one other thing that is suggesting to us that Bitcoin is in a position where on the short-term time frames could take a little bit of breather is, again, on the futures chart. We have the breakout of this descending wedge here, and we have just completed, by getting up to this point here, roughly $68,000, the full extent of where this breakout was supposed to go. So it would be natural to see a little bit of a correction, maybe come down and reconnect with the 12-day exponential moving average, or maybe just go sideways and allow these exponential moving averages to catch up, right? It's going to be one of those two scenarios. And again, the daily stochastic RSI in totally overbought territory. But hey, if the ETFs keep buying like this, man, maybe we won't get a correction. Yesterday, the ETFs bought another almost $500 million. This is crazy. Look at this. Look at this. $250 million, $500 million, $1/3 billion, $500 million, $500 million. These are crazy numbers, ladies and gentlemen. If this continues, it might not be any correction in Bitcoin on the short term. It might just be Bitcoin going sideways and allowing those exponential moving averages to catch up to it, meet it there as support before we then continue upwards. This is very, very bullish in my personal opinion. That is the update for the day. Hope you have a good day. Do good things. Be good people. Make a bunch of money.